What's up, guys? I decided to make this little video. How is it going today? For me, it's going really good, but I want to know, how are you doing? Um, this is my second day quitting smoking weed. Yesterday, I went all day and I didn't smoke and I didn't drink. And today is day number 2, and I do not want to jinx myself because I've already kind of done this whole thing before, and then I make a video about it, and then something happens and I slip up. And it's a Friday night, and I know people are going to be calling me, people are going to be hitting me up, they're going to want to hang out, but it's my second day not smoking weed, um, also not drinking. It's a Friday night, so I'm not going to answer people's calls. I've already told myself in my head. Usually I'll just answer the phone and I would say, like, sorry, I can't make it, or, something else. But today I've decided I'm not even going to pick up their calls if they call, because I can't handle that. I can handle being by myself, and I can handle staying away from smoking, drinking. But when it comes to getting around other people, it's easier to slip up because they have that stuff around them. I don't have that stuff around me. I ran out of weed and I decided I'm not going to buy any more. I'm done. I have bills to pay, I have things to do, but I'm not complaining. That's just a part of life. But I'm just acknowledging I have, you know, financial things I need to take care of. So there's no reason to be smoking weed. Um, Smoking weed is something that the first time you do it, you smoke and you're high all day. Uh, then after about a week, you might feel like you gotta smoke twice a day. The second week, you might feel like you gotta smoke 3 times a day, right? Maybe around midday, maybe around 5 o'clock, and before bed. On that third week, you might feel like you gotta smoke 4 times a day. You gotta smoke after breakfast, you gotta smoke after lunch, you gotta smoke after dinner, and you gotta smoke before bed. Week 4, week 5, you might start feeling like you gotta wake up and smoke all day. Once you start smoking for like a year, 2 years, you're gonna be smoking grams of weed a day. It's gonna be ruining your financial situation. It's gonna be ruining your relationships. And I'm not telling this to you to stress you out. I'm just putting this information out there for people to acknowledge, understand, and like a preventive measure. It's a preventive measure, because the first time you smoke, you might not realize how expensive it's gonna cost. But the more you smoke, the more desensitized you are to it. So you'll have to smoke more. You'll have to smoke more often, and you'll feel worse than when you first started. And honestly, it's not that good when you first start either. When you first start, you feel very anxious. You feel very paranoid. You don't know what's happening because it's not something that's supposed to be inside of us, guys. We're not supposed to be smoking weed. We're not supposed to be drinking alcohol. It's not something that is here for us, guys. It's not for us. All right, I don't care what the media says. I don't care what the internet says. I don't care what the documentary says. I create my own rules. I create my own life. I create my own experience and I create my own opinion. So I'm sick of people pushing something on the masses. We should decide for ourselves. You got people that never even smoked weed and they're screaming pro weed, end the weed prohibition. If you've never even done something, why are you trying to legalize it? Anyways, you get what I'm trying to say? If you don't know about something, then why are you so pro this? It's because of the media. It's because of other people's opinions being pushed onto us. But we are supposed to create our own opinions. We're not supposed to be submitting to anyone. And that's the number one problem I have with weed, is it makes you soft, it makes you weak, and it makes you submit to other people. Honestly, smoking weed, it takes away that effect that you have as a man or as a woman. But personally, I'm speaking as a man, and smoking weed makes me want to sit around, lay around. It makes me want to, you know, instead of sticking up for myself or saying how I feel, I'll just sort of just sit there and listen to other people, just slump over, just listen to what they're saying. If I do say something, it probably doesn't make sense. It probably doesn't even, it's probably not even on par with the conversation. Smoking weed will have you turning into, if you're a male, it'll have you turning into a female. If you smoke weed and you're a female, it'll have you turning into a male. It's not right, guys. It's not something, and we don't even know where it's coming from. I'll be honest, I'm living in a state where smoking weed is illegal, and we don't even know where it's coming from. We don't know what's being sprayed on it. We don't know the chemicals that are being used. We don't know the PGRs that are being used. PGRs are basically something that's like steroids for a plant. So, something that's illegal, and I think weed should be illegal, but I'm not gonna say it should be illegal or shouldn't be illegal because, I'm not even sure of that. But I know personally I am done smoking weed. But when weed is illegal, you don't know what you're buying because you're buying it illegally. You're buying it from the black market. And that's the number one problem I have with the weed today. Because, like I said, I don't like smoking weed. It's ruined my life. But number two is we don't know what's in the weed. When you buy weed on the black market, when you buy weed on the street, or when you buy weed from somebody who's like a personal connect, but it's not a legal transaction, you are getting all spectrums of weed. So you're getting stuff that you've probably gotten stuff that's been sprayed. You've probably gotten stuff that's had the crystals, the THC crystals. You probably had weed that's already been drained out of it and just made to look good. It's not what it seems, guys. It's not what it is, and it's not what the weed was like 100 years ago, guys. This is brand new weed. This is coming along the terms of a more harder drug. All right, and I would say compared to any of the other drugs out there, I would say smoking weed will be better. I'm still not saying to do any other drugs. Okay? Even cigarettes, alcohol, right? Leave that stuff alone. But leave weed alone too. Weed is also a drug. Weed can be lumped in with these categories. I'm not saying do any drugs, any alcohol, any cigarettes, right? But what I am saying is weed is also a drug. Guys, I can feel it when I'm not smoking anymore. I don't feel right. And it's not in like a panic kind of way. It's not in like I can't do this kind of way. It's more so in a way that's like I need something that I don't have. And I have bills coming up, and I don't even have the motivation to go out and do what I have to do. Of course I'm going to go to my job later. I'm going to show up where I have to show up. Everything's going to be okay. But I don't have the energy to go out and do what I normally do. The things that I'm normally doing. I do have a lot of energy in the sense that I'm not smoking, so I'm not dulling myself. My levels are peaking because I've been making a good choice. But also, it's like, it's the motivation that weed will kill. And that's why I'm making this video for you guys, because motivation is the number one thing that will lead to success. And knowing you guys probably had a lot of motivation. A lot of things motivated you. A lot of things made you think, I need to do what I need to do. I need to become better. I need to become stronger. I need to improve my situation. Whether that's a financial situation, whether that's, an emotional situation, whether that's, whatever situation that you want to improve, it comes from motivation. And that is the thing that weed kills. Weed will kill your motivation. It will kill your motivation. You're not going to notice it right away, but weed will kill your motivation. And our motivation is who we are. Look at certain people out there, okay? I don't want to name drop too many people because then that's going to lead into some kind of opinions or, oh, this person doesn't like that person doesn't like this person. But think about somebody that you have, looked up to. It could be a person in your life. It could be a parent. It could be a sibling. It could be a step parent. It could be a teacher. It could be anybody you've looked up to, right? It doesn't have to be family. All right, anybody. These days, kids are even looking up to celebrities now, people they don't even know. Kids are looking up to people they have never met, but it's okay. Moving forward, whoever you have looked up to, whoever you looked up to, right? You probably looked up to them because they were a motivated individual. Do you look up to somebody who just sits on the couch and is just lazy and just eats Doritos all day? How do you look up to them? Maybe if you want to be like them, then you look up to them. Or maybe if that's your goal, then they're very motivated at sitting on the couch and eating Doritos, right? But the person you look up to more than likely was motivated and more motivated than you were. That's why you looked up to them. Like for me personally, let me share somebody that I'm motivated by. Kanye West. He motivated me because of the fact of just, I don't know him personally or anything like that, but Kanye West is someone I look up to because he's a motivated individual. No matter what bad things you have to say about him, he changed his life, his family's life, and that's all you can ask for is the motivation to, especially as a man, it's about where you want to get to. It's not about where you're at right now. It's about your vision and where you want to get to and your motivation. You got to have the vision and you got to have the motivation. And these things are going to help you quit smoking weed. All right, these things are going to help you across all borders of your life. But let me tell you another person I looked up to in life. All right. So I haven't planned this video out or anything like that. So I'm just trying to think of the person that I look up to. But before I say that person, let me tell you, a person I look up to is myself. I look up to myself more than most of the people in my life because I have motivation. And people don't always see that I have motivation. All right? People don't always see that I have this motivation. But when I do what I do, then people see that I'm motivated, right? For example, I recycle metal. You might not know about that, or you might know a lot about that, but you can take metal and you can recycle it and you get paid for it, right? And most people say, you recycle metal? Why do you do that? Does it pay a lot? But that's the thing. It's something that pays if you're motivated. If you can go out and you can get people to give you their metal so you can recycle it, and you can shake people's hands, you can get out there, you can be a human being. Just like with any business, it has more to do with your social skills than it has 50-50 your social skills and then the work that you do. If I was removing metal from somebody's yard and I broke their window, they're never going to call me again. Or if I was talking to somebody and I didn't look them in the eyes and I didn't shake their hand and I was being disrespectful, they're never going to call me again. That's why it's important to have social skills mixed with motivation, hard work. This is how you can complete your goals. So one person I looked up to, right, is we were playing basketball, right? And, I love to play basketball, but it's mostly for fun. And I was playing basketball with these people that they were playing this as like, this is like do or die. And I played basketball with them, and he kind of like smacked me on the butt, and he's like, "Come on, man, you gotta bring it next week. You gotta play better next week. We lost." He's like, "Were you even hustling? Were you even trying?" I'm a tall dude, and I was kind of just like under the rim, just trying to get rebounds, but it wasn't working. And he told me, like, that's not what it's about. You got to make something happen. You got to create something. You can't just run through the motions. And it's true about life. And he was speaking about the game of basketball, but it's true about life that you have to do something different to stand out or to do something different. If you don't want to be the same as everybody, you got to stand out and you got to do something different. And you can't just run through the motions in life. There's a reason that you have parents, or you have, people that are around you. And if you're just alone on an island and it's just you, I'm not sure how you're watching this video right now, right? So maybe you don't have parents, right? But you have people hopefully in your community that you can at least look to, at least watch them, right? You can at least watch them, right? But that's the thing. When you grow up, you realize the same people you're looking up to, you don't want to be like them. You want to be your own person that other people can look up to. You want to be different. So when you're little, you look up to people and you want to be like them. But once you grow up past a certain stage, you say, I don't want to be like them anymore. I want to be like me. I want to be myself. And that's where you need to be hardworking. You need to look people in the eyes. You need to be social with them. At least have good social etiquette, or just know the right things to say. You don't have to connect with people. You don't have to always, personally, you don't have to connect with people. You don't have to always be there for them, emotionally support them. As long as you say the right thing at the right time, and you have good, what would the word be? The word would be like, you just have good common sense when it comes to like social situations. That's all you need. And if you don't have that, just learn how. It's not that hard. Make yourself uncomfortable. Put yourself in situations where you talk to somebody new, and then you'll learn something new for your next interaction. But this is not something like we need to connect with everybody and we need to always put our heartstrings to everybody, right? Some things you gotta keep a secret. Some things you gotta keep it to yourself. There's ways to accomplish what you need to accomplish without revealing all your secrets, without telling people your life story. There's a time and a place for that, right? There's plenty of times you can give people your life story. You can tell them what you're going through. Just like this video right here, right? This is what I'm doing for y'all, because I figure if I share something, maybe it could help somebody else out there. And it also helps me. But all I'm saying is, it's not a time and a place all the time. There's time and a place for that, right? For a situation where you could help somebody, or they could help you, or you just feel like, speaking. But when it comes to your goals, where you want to be, unless that goes directly with where you want to be and the goals you have, then it's more important just to be in the right place, the right time, to say the right thing, and you're going to be more successful than the person that was too lazy to get out of bed, said the wrong thing, or just they weren't using their intuition to find the right place at the right time. Right? People don't listen to their intuition. They'll listen to their smartphone, or they'll listen to a TV show, or they'll listen to the internet, and they wonder why they're not getting where they want to go, because we have a different journey ourselves than other people. So you have to listen to your intuition. You can't listen to other people. This is a key point I want to make, that a lot of people will listen to other people. And if you're under 18 and you're listening to your parent, or you're listening to your guardian, then that's fully acceptable. Okay? But I'm telling you, once you're over 18, once you're out of high school, or once you're out of college, or maybe you're under 18 but you don't live at home, you're looking after yourself right now, it's more important to listen to your own intuition than anybody. I don't care if they think you're dead wrong. It's listen to your intuition over anybody else's opinions or thoughts. Don't get me wrong, you can hear them out, you can hear what they have to say. They might even influence what your intuition is thinking. But don't just listen to people and ignore your intuition. It's important to listen to your intuition, because think of intuition. That's what's inside of you. That's how you feel inside. So it's very, very, very important to listen to your intuition if you want to be successful. All right, and your intuition goes into all facets. Your intuition will go into your hard work, right? When you want to quit, your intuition is going to say, keep pushing and you'll get there. When you talk to people, your intuition is going to let you know the right things to say, when to shake their hand, when to smile. If you ignore your intuition and you just go based off something you read on the internet, you're going to be extremely awkward and people aren't going to understand you at all, or get what you're trying to accomplish. Okay? So, sorry if I kind of drilled these points home, but I'm just trying to share with you guys some things that I have learned. And I'm also trying to vent to you guys a little bit how I'm on day 2, no weed, no alcohol, and it's only been 2 days. This is only the second day, but I'm already sure of myself that my intuition is already sure of myself that, there's no point to smoke weed. You're just draining your bank account. There's no point to smoking weed at all. At all. It's fake. It's a fake feeling. It's not real. It's not a real feeling. These are things that are coming from the outside and polluting you. It's polluting your brain. It's frying your brain. And it's controlling you. Weed, marijuana, it has a control over you. And if you're just starting, I hope you put it down. Because the sooner you put it down, the easier it is. You see how I'm kind of like all over the place and I'm not really, I have good things to say, but I'm not really getting them across in the most best way. I don't want to blame this on using marijuana and alcohol, but it probably is a factor in why I am the way I am. And looking back, once you turn a certain age, you think, wow, that time is all gone and I can't go back and change it. But it makes you that much more sure of yourself that it's good that you quit smoking. It's good that you quit drinking. Because you see all these other people, family members, friends, relatives. It could even be, teachers or, co-workers, right? And they're still smoking weed, they're still drinking. You don't know what all they do. They might even do other stuff. And you feel so thankful that that's not you anymore. And I have quit multiple times. So I have experienced this other times. I've quit for 6 months before. I've quit for 1 month. I've quit for a year. I have been there, guys. And it felt more better when I was sober than when I was under the influence. Because let me tell you what, all the times I was under the influence, I do not remember. I remember the moments where I was sober. Because when you're sober, you really connect with your true emotions. Drinking numbs your emotions. Smoking makes you feel something that's not real. Okay? So, if you cannot be sober, you're not strong enough. Okay? You're not able to say, long term, this is the better choice. I'm just being honest that if you're, and obviously everybody's at a different stage of addiction. So you have to factor that in. But I'm just saying that if you can't put the alcohol down, if you can't put the marijuana down, if you can't stop the drugs that you're doing, you're still a little bit weak and you're sick. You are sick. But you are also weak. There's a reason that you turn to that stuff in the first place. And if you want to be strong, be sober. You're more stoic, you're more manly. Women attract to you better when you are sober. Because like I said, weed can make you more feminine. Even alcohol can make you more feminine. When someone starts putting back a couple drinks, they start talking a lot, right? They start opening up a lot. That's very similar to how women are just naturally already like that. So why if we're masculine, why do we want to do what women are doing? That's why a lot of people just fall into substance abuse. And the substance abuse also causes a lot of problems for them. Because if they would go sober, they will become their natural self again. But people use drugs and then they wonder why their life is messed up and they wonder why they're not going the way they want to go. They want to be here, but they're all the way over here and they're not in the right direction and they complain about it. And I've grown up with people like this in my life that will complain all night and not do a single thing to change it. And it makes me want to cry, but I've already cried too much about that very subject. So I am stoic. I am strong. And when you quit smoking weed and you quit drinking or you quit doing drugs, you are going to break down. You are going to cry. You're going to have moments of emotion. But take that as a good thing. That's a sign of recovery. That's a sign of recovery, right? Because before you probably coped by lighting something up or by drinking something, but now you're coping with your real emotions. You are crying. That's a coping mechanism. And let me tell you a story about growing up, guys. Growing up, I cried when I was a little baby and stuff. You know, when you're little, you cry. A year old, 2 years old. By the time I was like 4, no one had seen me cry until I was like 16 or 17. And this might be similar to your very situation. This is probably similar to a lot of people's situations, right? So I didn't cry until I was like 16. Besides just being like when you're like under the age of 1 and you're like, I'm hungry, I have to go to the bathroom, right? Like you cry to communicate when you're a baby. But when you get older, you realize crying isn't a good form of communication. At least that's what you're taught, right? So when I was 16, I finally cried, but not like I was hungry or thirsty. No, I just cried as like the things I was feeling. And after I cried, I felt better. And I am able to cry now. And that's a coping mechanism. So maybe you never learned how to cope with your emotions. Maybe you still haven't learned that. So instead of doing something to numb your emotions, you should learn to cope with them. And we can naturally cope by crying. So if you're going through a hard situation emotionally, I suggest you spend some time alone. If you can't be alone at home, go for a walk. Go find somewhere where you could just spend some time alone. All right, or do your best at least. Do your best to just go on a walk and just, at least when you're walking and you're walking like, then you're kind of in your own thoughts. Even if other people are around, right? You're in your own thoughts. It's like the pace that you're going helps your thoughts. I used to pace in a circle just to get through my emotions. So I have been learning to cope with my emotions. And a lot of you probably think cope with your emotions, that's like soft. But that's, to me, it's more soft to use a substance, to drink, to smoke. That's more soft because you're not even dealing with yourself. You're putting something else inside of you that's just gonna make you think, oh, I'm okay, but then the next day you're not okay. So you need to deal with what's going on. You need to cry. You need to get alone. Because until I was 16, I didn't cry because I don't know why I didn't cry, but I didn't want people to see me cry. And I am remembering a situation where, well, I think it was when I was 16. I might have been a little younger, but I just broke down in the middle of the night. And I remember my siblings were in the room. I think I was 14. So I was still, sharing a room with my siblings. And I remember when I would cry, I would try to like cover my mouth, cover my nose, because I did not want them to hear me crying. Because they're younger than me. And they need to see me as a strong person. And if I'm crying, then, maybe they're not going to feel safe. But growing up, getting older, spending time alone, I've realized that it's important to cry. It's important to handle what you're going through instead of just numbing it all away. Because one day you're going to run out. One day there's not going to be that. Or one day you're just going to kind of like sacrifice your who you are. You could die because of these very things. Or at least you could really hurt your body and just hurt yourself. Even if you don't die, you could just be suppressing yourself and becoming a worse human being. So it's really important to stay sober, guys, And thanks for watching my video. Seriously, God bless. I love you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe.